The Vegas Golden Knights, if they're not the sports team of the decade, there should be a major investigation.
Marchessault scores!
Oh, what a stop! Marc-Andre Fleury does it again!
The Washington Capitals may be a team of destiny.
Ovechkin scores! Braden Holtby, back-to-back shutouts.
The first time in 2 decades, the Caps are headed to the big show. An expansion team will play for the Stanley Cup.
Think about the matchup, Vegas, Washington.
Buckle up. This is going to be an amazing series.
We still have to wait until Monday for the Stanley Cup final to get underway. We're joined now by Hockey Central's John Shannon to talk about the big series. And John, both head coaches have not been there before. Gerard, Gallant and Barry Trotz both looking for their first Stanley Cup championship. Let's talk about their strengths, starting with Gallant.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a former National Hockey League player, Gerard's strength is that I think he understands what it's like to be a player. I think he understands that you don't do too much video, that you don't practice too long. You may practice hard, but you don't practice long. He's not a tactician, and he's a good old-fashioned coach working in a modern world where this is a players' league, Martine, and there seems to be some magic there. Gerard has really created some chemistry with his players. You're not going to see him make too many adjustments during the game, but here's a guy that's had to learn a lot about coaching. He had his first chance to coach in the National Hockey League in Columbus and was, quite honestly, a failure, a miserable failure. Went back to junior hockey to St. John, New Brunswick, and the Sea Dogs. Actually coached his team in 3 straight championship series in the Q and won the Memorial Cup in 2011 and learned how to coach. And then he took that to Florida, and of course the famous story of the cab ride out of Carolina. He has paid his dues. There's no question about that. And in my mind, Gallant's approach reflects the way this team plays. They have fun. There's not too much intensity. There's not much. It's just roll the lines and have a good time. And that's what Gallant does for this team.
By the way, I love the pictures and how they have "Take me to the Stanley Cup final" with Gallant in that cab. How does he differ from Barry Trotz?
Well, Barry Trotz, I would tell you, was a life coach, a career coach. Was taken to the Washington Capitals training camp in the early 80s by a gentleman named Jack Button, knowing full well he wasn't going to make the team. Was the first cut, David Poyle's first year as general manager. And they knew that he had a chance to be a scout or a coach and worked within the Washington organization for 15 years before David Poyle plucked him from Washington to coach in Nashville, to be the first head coach of the expansion Nashville Predators. Trotz is very much a different style coach, much more prepared. They used to joke that Barry Trotz would have meetings to have meetings when he first coached in Nashville. And I think that he's learned a little bit now. I think he's learned to change. And this last year, I think that you've sensed really that he's having much more fun. All you have to do is look at Game 7 and that hot lap of the morning skate where it was him taking the hot lap, not Ovechkin the first time around. And the players enjoyed that, and that's something. He was very much more a detail person. I think he's changed that and become a people person.
You mentioned last year also of his contract?
Absolutely, and I think that that's something that comes to mind for Trotz. What's he going to do? Where is he going to go? Don't be surprised if he doesn't come back to Washington, even if they win the Stanley Cup. It would be his choice, I bet. And don't be surprised if we start hearing his name in Seattle, Washington, as they get an expansion team.
That's the coach's perspective. How about the players? What do they go through between now and puck drop?
Well, I'll tell you what, it is different. You know, we think they're prepared. They're prepared for 3 rounds of playoffs. But I can tell you what's going to happen between now and Monday at 5 Pacific time is totally different than anything else. Lots of interviews. Media day is Sunday. So there'll be more cameras and more microphones than any of these players have ever seen probably in their lives. There's 3 guys that have been through this before. Brooks Orpik, Marc-Andre Fleury, and James Neal. No one else. So you know that's going to be a little bit of an tiring event for them. And then Monday, with that 5 Pacific time start, you know that means no morning skate. Hockey players love routine. Hockey players love doing it in their own manner, in their own style. No morning skate, 5 o'clock puck drop. It may be a little bit of a slow start to game number 1.
All right. Monday, by the way, can't get here soon enough.
It's like Christmas, 2 sleeps.
Thanks for this, John.
Just 2 sleeps. Yeah, the Stanley Cup final begins Monday in beautiful Las Vegas. Hockey Central tonight sets you up for Game 1, 7:30 Eastern on Sportsnet, and the game can be seen on Sportsnet and CBC at 8 Eastern.